the hardest thing that people have in common with other people is their ability to communicate.
Yeah.
And then we introduced this thing called AI, and we're like, the most important thing you could do is learn to communicate. Like, we haven't even done that good with each other yet.
Help me with hip hop. Let's get it right. Protect your patience. Day and night. Donna and David, the experts on your side. Help me with hip hop. Let's get it right.
So, there are things in life that we have to learn to live with. And, unfortunately for you, Donna, I am one of those. But for everybody else, let's talk about learning to live and work with AI. And before we even go down this rabbit hole, you and I both have already talked about this. Like, are we turning into like the AI podcast? Because we can't get off the topic.
I know. It's like torture. We're perfectly
I'll talk about
content.
it. Yeah, I'll talk about it all day, every day. The thing I think people want to keep talking about it, because you, particularly, myself included, but you've had a lot of people come to you over the past week and bring up conversations about AI. And we've been in the Carden Club Hangout, and we're talking to members and it's the questions about AI. So I feel like we talk about it all the time, but I also think that our listeners need to hear it all the time.
Wow.
They want to talk about it more and more. They want to hear about it more and more. And so here we are.
Yeah, it was really weird that I had somebody ask about it in the Hangout on Thursday afternoon. What does, AI, let's talk about what does it really mean to me? What do I need to, how do I need to approach this thing is more or less, I'm summarizing. But then later that night, somebody else asked me, like in a social event, social setting, and they're like, bring me over here, sit with us. We want to learn about AI. We want to understand what we should do with it. Now go. Just like turn. It's like they pulled the string or something. I'm like, you realize I'm on like multiple bourbons at this point. So they felt entertained. I don't know how they felt about AI, and then like 2 other times I was asked in social settings and work settings. So I gave in and said, let's do this so that we can have it to share anytime this comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, you have to learn to live and work with it, both.
Yeah.
So, and I think, I want to say like just last week, the last episode, I was like, I am both excited and terrified. That is always my answer. Right.
Yeah. I think that's a healthy answer, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. I really believe when people start asking questions about, do you see it doom and gloom or do you see it being positive? It really boils down to how we as humans decide to use this thing. You're definitely going to have people that use it for bad, and you're going to have people using it for good. If we can, the normal folk like us, if we can use it in a good way, then overall, I think it's going to be very positive all the way around. But yes, there will be times when it will be used for things that it shouldn't be.
But isn't that way with everything that we have?
It is. That's my point is we always go down this path, especially with the new and the unknown, of how terrifying it is, how bad it is. I mean, we talk about the dark web, like the dark web is bad. Well, you know what? Not everything on the dark web is bad, but the dark web is also a much bigger piece of the internet that most people never go on.
No, and there's no need for them to. Yeah. But, it's kind of like a butcher knife, we need one in the kitchen, right? I got to use it in the kitchen, but how many times do you see in some sort of scary movie, it cuts to the kitchen knife?
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm going to use it to protect myself or something else. It's the same thing. And hopefully it's not the creepy one where the bad guy's getting the, let's hide behind the chainsaws.
It reminds me of a Airbnb that my wife booked for us in Dallas, Texas last year. And the Airbnb looked very nice. What we didn't know was that it was in a very bad neighborhood. And we were fooled. But yeah, sleeping with a butcher knife.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure, man. This is a sketchy. I mean, when Uber pulls up and they're like rushing you into the thing. It was, anyway. So, the whole AI thing, I think that there are people that still haven't used it or don't use it a lot. They don't know what to expect from it. Sometimes it's even, I like to tell people this, sometimes it's even becomes like a theological debate. Like, should I use AI or not? I didn't.
I mean, there's people, I'm never touching it. You know what?
Yeah.
Got bad news for you. Somewhere you're already touching it.
Probably.
But not on purpose. It's kind of like vegans that accidentally eat some cheese. And when we step back and look at it, it made me, when I was trying to figure out, how am I going to talk about this? And, we do discuss, I've been around once or twice. Rode the rock around the sun, as so to speak. But one of the things, when I was first starting out, and, I started working with computers in high school in, 1980, 81. So when I then, by the end of the 80s and I'm in my career, I was walking into offices that had no computers. None.
Yeah.
And people can't even comprehend that. Putting in computers, and then we put in new computers. Then we had to go, this is a mouse. Well, why do you call it a mouse? Do you see the cord? So we had to teach people how to use a mouse. And now kids are better at mice than the most people were, because it was a concept they didn't grasp. So
the kids nowadays actually don't know how to use mice. They touch the screen.
Yeah, true.
My grandkids, I'm like, quit putting your hands on my screens. They're not touch screen.
That's a good point. See, already different. But, at that time, everyone was terrified. The computer's going to take my job. I don't want to learn the computer. I refuse to learn the computer, whatever it was. But, and always, my rule is you go in and you're doing something like this, putting in these things, bringing in software. And the person who says, don't worry about me, I love change, that's the one. That's the one you need to keep an eye on. They're either going to go wandering off into things you just said don't do, or they're going to complain the most. But the bottom line is, today, you can't even comprehend not having access to a computer and running a business.
Yeah. Or the internet. I mean, here's the funny part. If I ask one of my kids, I'm going to guess here, but if I ask one of my kids, like, are you on the internet? The answer I might get is, no, I'm on YouTube. It's like, yeah, I get it, but that's the front end of the back end. Okay. And I think the same thing is going to be with AI. At some point, it's going to be, you're using AI, but you don't think you're using AI because you're using something else that's a front-facing part of it.
It's the same thing. You don't have to know how the computer works inside. You don't have to understand any of that. It's way easier to put one together and use one now than ever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was brutal back then. But, you don't have to understand any of that. You just use it. And, all the people that are like, oh, I don't know anything about computers, they know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And AI is coming in this same way, same scenario, just, different variables.
Yeah. I think the thing that might scare people more about AI is that we've never had something come out that says it can do what you can do at a large scale and better and faster. Now, we've had some of that with different technologies over time and all that, but this one makes it feel like that not just your skills can be replaced, but you as a person can be replaced. That's kind of what I'm seeing, is that it makes people feel irrelevant, not their skill set, because you could say, well, I'll go learn a new skill and get a job doing something different. But some people feel like it's making me as a person invisible.
Yeah. Well, and then you start talking about the robots taking over, and now it's even worse, once you do that. But it a lot of it comes back to the messaging that comes out of business, right? That they are like, you're no longer necessary. Humans are no longer necessary. There's people that still work at the car manufacturers.
Yeah.
And most parts are handled by robots,
Mm-hmm.
But you remember when they were bringing those in, everybody was, oh, the robots are going to take over. Yeah, the robots are doing things, but somebody's managing the robots. Somebody's making sure they're still working. Somebody's following up and making sure and doing quality control. The human is still there. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is when you kind of look at it in a longer timeline, I think it's something like 60% of the job we have now didn't even exist like 40 years ago. It's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number if you look at even, 10, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. You brought up the like social media manager when we were talking before we started recording. Like that wasn't a thing 20 years ago. And think of how many jobs have been created just by the internet and social media and all the other things around it. Just massive, massive amounts of jobs. And how many jobs did it cost? I'm sure it was a few.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a few. I mean, look at the newspaper industry, for example. I mean,
decimated. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yes, will AI decimate some? Absolutely. Will it create opportunities? I believe it's going to create more opportunities than it hurts folks.
Right. So we're going to tell you what we think you should do to learn to live and work with AI. Just put your toes in. Just put your toes in. And if you're interested, we'll tell you what we think you should do from both, your personal life as well as business, because you need to do both. It's in both. So here we're going to discuss that. So, but before we do, everything we're talking about, don't put personal or confidential information into these things. That's not where they go. If you're not paying money for that tool, you should never, ever, ever, ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you are paying money for the tool, you need to understand what you get for your money, and if that covers protecting your data at any level. Okay, so if you want to get to that level where you can put those things in, you've got to make sure you understand that you have a version that will allow that. So, and most people go, well, I don't know how to understand. So you assume you cannot until you learn how.
That's right.
But we're not saying, David and I didn't even get started. I went and looked. Our first episode that we even really went down the path is episode 392 in February 2023.
Yeah, so that would have been probably a year after I started using AI.
Mhm.
'Cause I think I signed up in January or February of 22. So like a month or two after OpenAI kind of released it.
Yeah. And
It's
we
so
were
funny.
tinkering with it for the longest time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, try this. And
Yeah.
we learned how to build prompts and have it help us. I mean, we were real excited. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Still
and,
excited
yeah,
every day.
I know. I love it. Oh, you're not going to believe what happened. So there are all those things, but it's with a healthy dose of concern and worried about the right way to use it and how to protect us from people using it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not talking about using it the way David's using it right now. Like, I don't even want to get to the level he's at right now. I'm waiting until he screws everything up, figures all of that out, and then I'll just have him do mine.
Yeah. I mean, but even like for me, I'm building, I'm playing with agentic AI. And so I'm building agents and creating these custom automations and learning about, things that are more complex. The cool thing about it is what it can do. The thing that I think is a problem is when you try to start there and you hear all these people talking about what it can do and how amazing it is and how you need to be doing it. And if you're not doing it, you're going to be irrelevant. I mean, all those things are true to a point, but you can't start there. Like you can't get into a car with a manual transmission and put it in fourth gear and start. It doesn't work well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some areas where you can start.
Yeah. Well, number one, get an account.
Yeah. And okay, so the first question I always get is which AI
one?
should I? Yeah, which one should I do? And honestly, that's in some ways it's kind of the wrong question.
Yeah,
because you really want to start with what is it that you're wanting to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Now, you and I both know they don't usually have that answer yet. Like I don't know. Right. So really, it's a matter of pick one.
Mm-hmm. Like you already have a Gmail account. Use Gemini.
Right. Now I'll get some flack on this probably, but don't start with Copilot.
Please don't. No. Oh, no. No.
My personal opinion on Copilot is they probably should strip it out and kill it, but
I read they were going to redesign it.
Well, whatever, but it's not good. Now there are people that may defend it, and that's fine. You may love it and all that. I don't like it. Don't use it. I use it a little bit, but I don't know that I'll continue paying for it. There's a reason why they make you buy it annually. You can't buy it month to month.
So, well, yeah, and it doesn't facilitate. Now it does some great things.
Mm-hmm.
If you are deeply tied into the Microsoft ecosystem, right?
Yeah. I'm more of a fan of let's try to be as agnostic as we can be, and that's a little harder to do. That's a rabbit hole, so I don't want to get down deep in the woods there. I would say for today, for what is it, 6/1/26, I would pick between OpenAI's ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude.
Yep.
Pick between one of those. Now, if you've got Gmail and all that, then you can go Gemini. That's true.
If you're already there, it is tied into things. And if your company is a Gemini workspace or a Google workspace, there's some really cool features that are already built in there. So, but right now, probably 6 months ago, I wouldn't have said this. Right now, I find it easier to have conversations with Claude than ChatGPT. It seems to be, getting what I'm saying. But 6 months ago, I would have said the other way around. So,
yeah. Well, the thing I want people to stay away from is chasing the next best thing. Yeah. Because they leapfrog each other all the time. And it's so funny. Last Thursday, I had a friend message me and talk about how Codex 5.5, which is ChatGPT, 5.5 was amazing. It's the biggest, best thing, and it's doing all this stuff. And literally the next day, Anthropic dropped Claude 4.8, which, I mean, So it was 5.5 was top of the heap for less than a week.
Yeah.
But that's just the way these things go. Pick one. And because they work a little bit differently. ChatGPT works a little different than Claude. Claude's a little different than Gemini and all that. So it's better to just get in for what we're going to be talking about today. It really doesn't matter which one you pick.
No.
Pick one. So,
yeah. And if you don't feel like you're getting anywhere with that one, go to one of the others. But stay with those three to begin with is what we're trying to say.
Yeah. And I prefer right now, I prefer Claude, but I don't know that I would tell anybody to start there.
It has a lot of features. But from a conversational standpoint, that's really what you want, is that when you tell it something, it seems to understand you. And that's and they will learn you. Keep in mind, these things will learn. As you use them, they begin to learn. I mean, you wouldn't believe the comments, the funny comments that when I'm working on stuff that it'll tell me, where I'll laugh out loud and it knows I am. It's like, do you think that was funny? Yeah. So, but pick one, get you an account, and you can even get multiple ones, and then try the same thing on all of them. Come up with something, try the same thing on all of them, and see how it comes out. That it is always different. It'll be different doing the same thing 2 different days on the same one.
Yep.
But pick something that's low risk, it's easy to verify, so that you know what it did was correct, right? That you could understand it, and that it wasn't giving you completely random medical advice on how to do surgery. Don't.
Let's not do that one.
No. But you know what? It's really, really good at like comparing products. Give it 2 links and tell it to give you a comparison. You can give it links to websites and it'll tell you, no, I can't do that. But if you'll give me this, like it can't watch a video necessarily. Let's don't go to the way you should be using it. Don't be giving it a video necessarily, but you give it a video transcript maybe. You can get it to help you draft an email where I need to send an email that says this, 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 and this. This is the audience. Write it.
Yeah. Or I've seen people, and I've done this before too. I'll write an email to somebody and then I'll say, this sounds kind of harsh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'll give it to AI and I'm like, can you write this a little bit softer, but still firm and professional? And it comes back and it gives me usually first shot, but sometimes I have to iterate a couple times, but it gives me something that's much better than what I would have said.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes it nicer than I want to be. Nope. I want to be more firm than that,
Yeah, a little more firm than that. But that's a good way, because what you're not doing is saying, just create me an email. You're saying, here's my email. This is exactly what I want to say, but I want to say it a different way. And see what it tells you. It can make it harder, make it softer, make it funnier, make it professional, whatever. That's a good use of it.
Or you're planning something. It's great.
Oh, planning's real good. Yeah, it's really
great.
Good planning.
For example, on Memorial Day, I had family coming into town. The flights were coming in at a different time. People were arriving at a different time. I wanted to do a low and slow pork butt. And, and that takes hours. And then I'm going to do this and this and this. And by the time I had all of the things that I needed to do, I couldn't get the timing down. I couldn't figure out what order and what timing. And it needed timing when you're doing all of those things. And then, of course, my brother's flight was 3 hours late, which blew up the timing at the end of the day.
That always helps you.
Yeah. But down to exactly when. And then if I wasn't able to get something, I could go back to it and say, okay, I had this problem. Will that impact these other things? And it would quickly look and it'd say, okay, move this here, do this there. It was great. Because it's just like somebody was watching after it for me. So I didn't have to figure all of it out. I could do. And it was great at helping me put things in order and organize what I needed to get done at a certain time. So it's great for that. It's great for planning a trip. It's great for creating a packing list. All kinds of things. So I'm sure you've got something in that list. That's where you get started.
Yep. And if you don't know, ask it.
Yeah. That's it.
It's like, give it context about you. Like, I'm X years old and this is my job role or whatever. And I want to be able to start using AI and I don't know anything about it. What are some areas that I can start with that are low risk and easy to dip my toes in? Whatever it is, give it context about you and what you're trying to accomplish. And then say, give me 3 ideas or 5 ideas of where I can start. And then take a look at it. And if you don't like those, then say, don't like those. Give me 3 more.
Yeah. I mean, you need to recognize this is not like a new app. This is like you're meeting a new person. You know, you need to treat it as if you're talking to another person. And on the mobile apps, you can actually carry on a conversation with it.
You know, the funniest thing about this is the hardest thing that people have in common with other people is their ability to communicate.
Yeah.
And then we introduced this thing called AI and we're like, the most important thing you could do is learn to communicate. Like, we haven't even done that good with each other
yet. You're right. But at least with humans, it's a little bit harder to go, what do you mean you don't understand me? Tell me how you will better understand me. Right? Because, you know, and you can like, if you ask it to do something and then it doesn't do what you want, you can say, help me correct my prompt because it's not working right. You know, you're not understanding what I'm saying. And then it'll begin to ask you questions. And then at the end, what's important is that once it gets all the answers and gets to where you want to be, don't just keep going. Stop and say, so what should my prompt have been from the beginning?
Yeah. Well, there are definitely different frameworks that you can learn. And if you want to, we can cover a couple of them that I use a lot.
Oh, we got a lot more to go through, so let's don't go through too far. But throw out some. So
the one that there's 2 I use. One is called the CRAFT framework. So that's an acronym. It stands for context, role, action, format, and tone. So basically what it is, you're like, here's the context of what I want to accomplish and who I am and why I'm doing it. This is the role I want you to play. Like maybe you're a business analyst or whatever. This is the action I want you to take. The format I want it in. So like create this in a Word document or whatever. And then the tone is this, you know, the voice, is it professional, whatever. So that's one. The other one, this is one I use for strategic stuff. So it's CRIT, CRIT. This is, again, context and role. Then the third one, and this is where the key is, the third one is I for interview. So interview me, ask me up to 3 or 5 questions, whatever, that you have questions about, and then tell it the task you want it to do. And that last part is the interview part is the key. If you just tell it to ask you clarifying questions before it does something, it'll make a massive difference in what it gives you.
Right. Absolutely. So it is, think of it as you've gotten a really smart assistant, but it has no idea who you are, and you've got to teach it. And you can even tell it, can you remember this? And then if it can't do it from where you're at, it will tell you how to go give it that information so it can remember it. So keep that in mind, and but start doing it. Do something. And, you know, if you're not doing it in your job, you need to start asking questions of, how are we going to use AI? Right? I mean, you don't necessarily understand why you're not using it at work. But like David just said, I don't understand why more of my staff don't come to me asking specifically about using AI for things. You know, and my team didn't get a choice. Here,
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of doing that too, where you somewhat forcing it on them, but and some of that's just because they don't know what it can do, or they don't know what I'm trying to accomplish. Maybe I don't know, but the thing is, you want to get everybody thinking about how can we solve these business problems and use AI to do that.
And how can it make me get stuff I have to do all the time I hate to do and get it off my list?
If it can just call and make my barbershop appointment, I'd be happy.
I know, right? Just make some appointments for me. Do that. Take the trash out. That's a big one for me.
Or call tech support, because you're going to be on hold for 2 hours before they pick up anyway.
And get me when it's time. So if we look at it that way, you dip your toes in. Don't wait. If your company's not giving you the opportunity, don't wait. Start using it. You will use it in your personal life. You can say, I've got these things and I want to make something different. Give me some recipes. And literally then you have a conversation with it about, oh, so-and-so is allergic to that. So what can I use instead? Or do I need to make something different? And, I've been able to, because I make stuff up as much as it does, apparently, sometimes. But that's one of the things I love the most from a personal perspective using it is the planning and working on the kitchen stuff is great. So now.
Yeah, you can even turn your camera on and like point it into your refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, this is what I got. What can I fix? Mine always usually said, you can make a good bowl of cereal.
Well, I do. I give it I take pictures of stuff, or, like you're at an Airbnb and there's some thing, everybody's got gadgets, right? But it's not one you've ever used before, but it's like an air fryer, let's say. You take a picture of it and you say, I want to use this, tell me how. And it'll actually get you to the point where it knows what model it is so that it can step you through using those things. Or if there's a problem, it'll help you figure it out. So those are all great things. But then we've got the job fear and the future of work. And it's a big thing. You think you're going to lose your job. It's reasonable to think that. But again, it was reasonable for all the people who thought they were going to lose the job when I put a computer on their desk to think that. I understood that was a major technology shift at their job, and that had to have been terrifying just like it is right now. It's the computer revolution keeps revolving.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a natural part of business. If you look at just kind of business in general and the way things go, if we still made all cars by hand, what would the cost of a car be?
Oh, it'd be crazy.
So technology comes along, advancements comes along, and yes, it takes fewer people to do that, but it also keeps costs down. But those jobs go elsewhere, and it creates other things, and people do bigger and better things. And so it's just a natural shift.
Yeah, and it frees you up to do other things that you may already need to be working extra hours to keep up, and you're stressed about not. By taking just an hour of your day back, it's amazing. Because that's what I'm using it for.
It gives you can use it to increase your productivity so you can get more stuff done in the same amount of time, or you can get the same amount of stuff done in less time.
Yeah.
Whichever you want to do. It can also make you more capable. Like there's a lot of things that I'm able to do now that I couldn't do before. Not because I got more time, because I got more capability and capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to look at it that way. Computers changed how we even looked at things, but what really brought computers into the business world were spreadsheets, because accountants started using spreadsheets, and then everything became spreadsheets. And I remember having to go get my little paper memos out of the mailbox at the front desk, and then we got email, and you didn't have to go up there anymore. And now the receptionist was actually productive.
Yeah.
You didn't have everybody at her desk all the time. But then, geez, the internet. look what it's done. It's made us so mobile and mobile smartphones. So all of these things have changed the way we operate across the board. But I think the big point we're trying to get across here is don't focus on AI replacing your job. What you should focus on is that somebody who's learned AI will take your job because you can't do it.
Yeah,
right?
It's a skill set you got to have. It would be like, go back to your typewriter thing. Like it's at some point there was a shift where you better learn how to type.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at like my dad who didn't have to learn how to type in school, he still does the 2 fingers.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I was coming along, you had to take keyboarding and typing and all that. And that was not something that was typically normal. But, you know, now everybody's typing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to type at all, it's going to be hard for you to get a job.
And I took typing because I needed to fill slot, you know, in school. And one of my friends was going to be in that class. And, you know, I still remember things from that class. But more importantly is, you know, then the next semester, quarter, whatever we were doing then, I got on the computer and it was like a whole new world. So what you need to understand is, you know, there's knowledge work and then there's judgment work. And people can be judgy. But, you know, AI is really good at processing information, searching, summarizing, you know, take all of this. And what's amazing is sometimes it can take a whole bunch of data and tell you things you didn't know were in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's really exciting. And reorganize it for you. And, you know, you can ask it, can you do this? And it'll say, well, I need this, this, and this. Okay, great. Here. But have those conversations with it, and you'll be surprised just how much value is there. But when it comes to making a judgment call, putting things within context, understanding ethics, because it doesn't know unless you teach it, you know, building those relationships, understanding when you have to be more polite because the boss is there or less, and managing risk, because it really has no reference for risk management at all.
No, it doesn't do a fantastic job of that part of it. Like I had a snafu last week where I'd asked it to look at something, and it looked at it and it pulled the information in the chat. And as soon as it did, it was like, oops, I pulled in all your API keys. So you got to go rotate them like now. Like literally said, don't do anything else until you do this. Go rotate all your API keys. And I'm like, well, why did you pull it in the chat? And it was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
My bad.
So anyway.
But yeah, it's still, but the big thing is the value. You have to look for the value. And it's immense once you find it. And if you're not even looking, you're definitely not going to find it. But, you know, when you look at things like, you know, people talk about, I go to the doctor and all they do is sit and look at the computer. No, they're clicking boxes based on all of the information and adding notes based on your conversation. No, they don't like documentation. They don't like doing it. Nurses don't like doing it. But if they don't do it, then the next person doesn't know what happened.
Well, not just that, but think of it from an AI perspective. Like literally, if it's not documented, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Literally. AI has no knowledge of it. So documentation with and within AI is going to be critical for you to get the output you want.
Yeah, and we're still figuring it out because this is literally new stuff. So one of the areas that is anticipated to be hugely advantageous and absolutely terrifying is where the AI listens to the appointment and transcribes the information and drafts the documentation, and it may notice things, and then you have the clinical staff review it and approve it. Same thing with coding and recommended follow-ups. And, there's sometimes I've had a case where, a long time ago I took that med. I've forgotten about it. And the doctor was a different doctor at the same practice, didn't know about it. And AI would have noticed that, because, oh, wait, I had a problem with that med long time ago. And it was just in some paper that was scanned in, So the idea is that you get more time to do the human thing because you're not doing the computer parts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't get out there and learn it, the world's going to pass you by.
Yeah. Spend more time doing the things that only you can do and try to figure out how to offload everything else to AI, or at least increase your productivity on it.
Yeah. Find your way on your own and talk to it. Just talk to it. That's it. And I'm not saying turn it into your therapist. It can be quite helpful, but there are times where I'll say I want to do such and such, and it'll tell me something. I'm like, no, that'll be a problem with blah, 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 whatever it is. Oh, you're doing risk management again. Yeah, I am. It's kind of the way my brain is geared. So keep that in mind and know that the whole world is facing this at the same time. This is not unique to your position or any other thing. And we all have to figure out how to deal with this, how to live and work with it, which brings up two other little examples that I wanted to run through here. On just know that everybody's trying to figure it out, right? You're not alone there. And Anthropic did this really, really cool test because they wanted to see what would happen if we had a company that was run just by agentic AI. Now, David, share an example of where Ava and Hal and how they carried on a conversation and made a plan for whatever that project was you had them working on. That they actually do it.
Yeah. So I have two agentic AI agents. One's named Ava, one's named Hal. They have email addresses. They communicate with each other. And so I gave them a task to, my first task I gave them was literally to figure out what roles they would be best suited for and what work they should be doing. And I told them to figure that out, which was fun. And they have a way they communicate with each other. They have a couple of different options, but anyway, I'm able to kind of see their conversations going back and forth. And then they come back to me and go, this is what we decided. and then I question them. I'm like, why did you decide that? How did you come to that conclusion? And then they have to basically, give me their reasoning for that. But it's exciting. It's so funny because I go to my wife and I'm, oh my gosh, it's great. And she's like, yes, honey.
Patted you on the head.
Yeah, she's like, I don't. Yeah, I think she's more in the camp of whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So they can operate and carry on conversations amongst themselves and send emails and order things and buy things and.
Oh yeah,
the company.
There's I did something with Ava this morning, and I said, "How about I want you to loop Hal into this conversation and see what his feedback is, and then we'll go from there." And she's like, "Okay, I'll do it."
Yeah. So that is, the next level. We're not asking you to get to that level right now, but that is the next level. And the thing that's good to know is just like most people don't have to understand how a computer works, most people won't have to understand how to build those, but they'll have to understand how to live and work with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
well, that's the key. Like, you'll have people like me that can come in and build that for you, but you still have to understand how do you work with it and within it and interface with it. That's what we're saying. Learn that skill of working with and within it.
Yeah, because they're like another coworker. It's a new insider. That's how we have to look at it. So Anthropic wanted to do a study. They had researchers and they wanted to say, okay, if AI is acting like an employee, how do we make sure it behaves like a good one?
Yeah.
So they had 16 different AI models they were working with, and all big names, that kind of stuff. But they wanted to give it its own anonymity and create, conflicting incentives, because that's what we as business people, we always have to decide. I've got, X amount of money and 3 times that of places that I want to spend it. I have to it's a conflict. I've got to work that out. Those are the simple ones. Don't even tell me that 2 different staff members have conflicting projects, right?
Yeah.
So that was the goal, is to set that environment up and see what happened. So they created these simulated corporate environments, and they gave them email systems, some sensitive information, obviously, for them, but not, like real. They could read things, they could send messages, and they had certain business responsibilities. Like, I think there was like a CFO and the HR person, and everybody had a role in the company. And they had researchers were trying to create these situations where there would be a threat that the AI would be replaced, or that it had conflicting goals with another one, or we made changes in the organization, or high pressure situations. So, those are all things that you would want to see. So there's good news and bad news.
Of course.
Of course there is. The most models preferred ethical solutions when they had ethical options. Like, if I can do the right thing versus the wrong thing, I'll pick the right thing, the more ethical thing. And now keep in mind, they purposely created extreme circumstances, pushing them to the limit. So that's good. And we were able to get all of this. But in a lot of cases, like I want to say Anthropic at one point, they asked Claude, or whichever one of the models under Anthropic was using it, did it understand it was in a test environment or real world? And it thought it was in a test environment. In the same scenario, in the test environment, it made more ethical decisions than it did in the real world. Same one. Yeah. So they found that some models would do corporate sabotage, leak information, and even blackmail other agentic AI. That one, I was like, it blackmailed like the boss. I'm like, oh my God. So, as they called it, problematic actions became more likely when the models believed circumstances were real and consequential. If it was just a test, they engaged way better. Even in some cases, they specifically told it, you can't do that. And it was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it anyway.
Self-preservation.
Just like the humans.
Yep.
It's like the lady, I just had to know if she was really sick. You've been told twice, this is your last time. Why did you do it again? I just need to know if she was really sick. So it just shows that we're creating these things to operate as humans. So what if we're human? It did some amazing things. It was successful in some areas, but it allows them now to go back and work with those models to say, we would prefer you to be a little tish more ethical when you're pushed to the limit. But when I was looking at another article that specifically about how to bring AI into the work environment, and Stanford Healthcare did some amazing stuff working with their Epic installation. They added AI into their clinical workflows, but it was done in a very, it was governance from the get-go and very structured in what works and what doesn't. And they were able to create an environment where they were seeing people able to find information quickly, because it was kind of like they had it had a name, but it was like letting the clinicians chat with the medical record. They weren't having to dig for something. I want to know this. Summarize the information about the medications. Tell me, so it was actually the objective is not to replace them, but make them more efficient and allow them to focus on the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my, according to the article, they're loving it. I haven't actually talked to anybody. Maybe we should find somebody. But
yeah,
to me, they did a successful implementation. There's a lot they're still learning and a lot they're still doing. But if you go and look through this article at what they were able to do, they didn't replace their clinicians, but the clinicians weren't having to spend hours clicking boxes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You are able to do things you weren't able to do before because you have more capacity.
Well, you're actually, I think, able to go to your kid's baseball game, right?
Yeah. Well, the real danger as people that are the decision makers, the real danger is in you finally find a way to give somebody that capability to go to see your kid's ball game. But what you do is you put even more work on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're not solving one problem, you're creating another. And that's where the challenge is going to be for the decision makers out there.
Yeah. It is that we have to find a way to make it you don't have to always just get more. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that's a big part of the problem is that we're always in this, we have to get more. Why not just get life? And be able to live a life. And that's, in Europe and other countries, they point that out. In the US, you're not allowed. Why don't we say this is going to give us that? Now, if you get rid of all the people and it starts making its own decisions, we're seeing what'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you get the blackmail letter because it's reading your email.
Yeah.
But I think the most important message we want to get here is don't hide from it, but also don't turn your life over to it.
Yep. Use it responsibly.
Just like Bud Light. This is
yeah. Maybe exactly like Bud Light.
I know, right? But I assure you that once you get comfortable with these bots and you're using them to make you less stressed,
mm-hmm.
I had a lot of things happening in life, business, personal, all of this all at one time. And I was like, I have to get my head wrapped around this.
Yeah.
And it really helps. It's like, okay, what is your problem with this one? What's your problem with that one? Okay, let's organize this.
Yeah. It can really help with priorities. Like one of the things that it helps me do is I'm like, these are the things I need to get done, but I can't do all of them and I can't do all of them today. So help me prioritize what needs to be done today, because it is mostly human nature to pick the thing that you like to do most, and it goes to the top of your list. Like, I like to do that one, I'll do it. But that might not be the one you should be doing.
The least friction, so that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah. I'm looking for like the most bang for my buck kind of task. But that, sometimes that's the one I hate doing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it will help you, and it will also help you get over the fact that you hate it. It's like,
mm-hmm.
Why don't you want to do this? Because I really hate doing it. Why do you hate doing it? How can we make that better? Have you tried doing this? And it's like, I never thought of doing that.
Yeah. But yeah, just become more comfortable with it. I remember there was a time when I keep using my parents because, they saw the ushering in of a lot of the technology stuff and they fought against it. I don't want to learn how to use a computer and I don't want to learn how to be on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're on the internet all the doggone time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord, yes. And everybody's got it's like you can't pry a smartphone out of a lot of their hands.
I know. I mean, my grandmother who passed, I guess it's been about 2 years now. She was 99 and a half years old and she was on Facebook more than I was.
That's right.
But so, you don't have to become an expert. Nobody's asking for that. And that shouldn't really be your goal that we're talking about here.
Mm-mm.
It's just start simple. We talked about the low risk cases. And if you don't know what some are, ask it. Learn how to prompt because that's the communication, the language that it's needing to give you good feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So use those things we talked to you about. Let it teach you how to use it instead of going to somebody and go, how should I use AI? Just ask it. And when you get the output you want, like Donna mentioned earlier, then go back and reverse engineer it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is exactly what I wanted from you. How should I ask you next time so that we can get to this end result faster?
And don't assume it's always right.
Yeah, please don't.
Please. I mean, there are times where I'm arguing with it because I know I gave it something. I just gave you that document. Nope, I don't have it.
Yeah, I argued with mine earlier today. It was telling me something about the new HIPAA security rule, and I'm like, nope, you're wrong.
Nope. But again, it's about what it's been trained on. And sometimes it's like any other computer, you got to restart it.
Yep.
That's a big thing. Got to close it out, open it back up, start a new chat, whatever. It needs that sometimes.
Yep. Well, I think that's it. So the question of whether it's going to replace you, I mean, I don't know. It won't replace you. It might replace your job.
Yeah, I got nothing on how the jobs are. I know that it has the potential to do a lot of things for us. And I don't see any way to completely avoid it. So that's all I'm saying.
Yep. So the good thing is 100 years from now, I won't care. All right. That's our show for today, folks. Thanks for listening. Be sure to join us again next week. And remember, for Donna and myself, the HIPAA is not about compliance. It's about AI.
Oh, that hurts. Ow.
It's about patient care.
You've been listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast, hosted by Donna Grindle and David Sims. The show created to help you with HIPAA. For more information or to ask us a question, visit our website at helpmewithhipaa.com. Neither Donna Grindle or David Sims are attorneys, and they do not offer binding legal advice concerning regulatory compliance. The information in this podcast should not be relied upon or construed as legal advice in any way. Consult your attorney for legal advice concerning compliance with HIPAA regulations.